I want to talk to Mr. President. I want to talk to my president. And I want to talk about two laws. Suddenly, the Kenya Police Service. Did I just say Kenya Police Service? And I'll come to that. Suddenly, the Kenya Police Service is very busy with the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. Almost all their cases today, they have concentrated on two acts, two crimes. They have concentrated on a crime called cybercrime and computer misuse. And two, they are concentrating on anti-terror or terrorist crime or something like that. Have things suddenly erupted? You see, there are times when things erupt. Like, what can I say? Okay, even right now, things have erupted. Police stations are being burnt. Even a law court was burnt, and so on and so forth. But let us ask ourselves, because if you remember very well, on my birthday, I turned and congratulated the Gen Z. I still do, because the most important aspect of solving any issue is finding the problem. Yes, I was part of the people who used to criticize the Gen Z that they show the problems without showing the solution. Finding a problem is the most important aspect of any problem. Because if you don't find the problem, then there's no way you can solve it. And also, as I said on my birthday, that when the Gen Z shows us the problem, maybe somebody else, or even all of us, we can sit down and find a solution. So, finding the problem is good. And when we say that we had a problem of police stations being burned and whatever, that is the problem. We ask ourselves, what caused it? What caused it is that a senior police officer in the name of Eliud Lagat was uncomfortable with what a blogger. This is something that happened between two people. A blogger called Albert Omondi Ojwang annoyed a police officer called Eliud Lagat. And you have seen where the whole thing where it ended, because we have identified the problem. Now the solution is to look at that. I remember one time a lawyer, now I think is a magistrate, called Kadima, one time told my father when I was there that people used to say that he was a very good investigator, to an extent that he always found a solution in every investigation he did. I remember my father telling Kadima that the complaint that is, the initial complaint that is made at the police station, the OB, where you go and say, okay, I've come to complain this and this, is what brings out the solution. Just that. This thing about writing a statement, doing what, you see, in the raw condition, that a person comes, fulani amechoma nyumba yangu, that is where the solution is. Nyumba imechomeka. Now, this other thing is that when you are writing a statement or anything or further investigation, is first of all the clarification and identifying which particular offense or offenses has been committed. So it is the first complaint. And what we are having in Kenya, we should not look for the punishment, but we should look for the problem. Especially of these two acts, the terrorist act and the cybercrime cyberbullying and computer misuse. Let me start with the Terrorist Act. When the law was created, and we usually say that the law is created for the man and not the man created for the law. So when the law was created, and the law said, when the law was created and the law said that being found with ammunition, I'm only using my own words. If you are found with ammunition and explosive and whatever, you can be charged under Terrorist Act. And another definition of ammunition, blanks and rubber bullets are called ammunition. Now, Mr. President, when our children, when our children pick up blanks or pick up used bullets, you see, what is the intention? Because in crime, in any crime, what is important is, in any crime, what is important is the intention of the person doing so. Our kids are taking those things with the intention of showing that the government is using deadly weapon against them. Your Excellency, I'm sorry to tell you, if the way you were when you are campaigning to be the president and you are what you are, what stops me thinking that even those people who are out there saying what you did say, how can I be confident to vote for them, knowing the very well that there is a chance 1 in a million that they will just be like what you are now. I don't speak for others, but it is quite possible if elections are held today, it is quite possible for me to vote for all other ballot papers, but spoil my presidential election. That is the far I've come. But then let us go back to what was happening. Uh, even in any crime committed, we don't have a law or a regulation that says that a judge or a magistrate will jail somebody for so long. When you are found guilty, a judge or a magistrate looking at you, bearing in mind that maybe you committed that offense without knowing, bearing in mind that during when the case was going on, you became cognizant of the implication of your crime, and even bearing in mind your mitigation factors, and maybe this is your first offense at all, or maybe this is your first offense related to what you are being charged. There are so many things that a judge or a magistrate considers before sentencing. It is something that is not fixed. And that is why you find that even an arresting officer should even bear in mind that this young person who has been arrested he had bullets, but the bullets, how did he find it? Now, you see, equating a young person from, is it Coast or Northeastern, or even Moyale and Isiolo, and other parts of Kenya, being taken to Somalia in Al-Shabaab training. Mr. President, let me look at you in the eye. I'm having 2 boys here. This boy is a Muslim, either born a Muslim or convert. Most of the cases, people who are born into Islamic faith are not misused. It is these people who are later converted. If you look at the cases in Kenya, it is the people who are born Christians and were converted by these other people. Those are we have even this lawyer who was supposed to bomb Nyayo Stadium, and he met his mother. So these are the things I'm saying. A Kenyan youth is taken to Somalia. He goes to Somalia, is trained to be an Al-Shabaab. Can you, with all and Mr. President, you were born again when you are in primary school, if what I know is right. For somebody who is very religious, who is even ready to spend, is it a million or billions, to build a church? Build the church that is in your chest. For somebody, an ignorant person who has only today met a bullet for the first time. And I can tell you, almost all the bullets that are shown on TV by youth waving, saying, look at the police, they are using live bullets on demonstrators. Almost of all those bullets that I see on TV are blank bullets, are blank used bullets. Now, if you take a young boy, a young man from Kangemi with a used blank bullet, and you charge him on the same level with a young man who is asked to go to Somalia and train with Al-Shabaab and come back with IED. That is the problem we have with anti-terrorism. Please, please, please. And I'm seeing this somewhere where you're becoming very convenient. Uh, Either you are giving instruction to the police or the police are independent. When it is convenient to you, police is independent. When it is convenient to you, you say, how can the people who are burning police stations and burning whatever be let free? Why can't you just stand up and say, among the very first executive orders I made was that the police had to have an AIE, authority to incur expenses. So whatever they are doing, they carry their own crosses. Your Minister for Internal Security has even come up with a directive. He says executive order number 1 of 2025. Does he have powers to do that? Well, I can go on and on. That is an anti-terrorism act. But please, even a kid who burns a police station, Mawigo police station, had you not arrested Ojwang, would he have banned that? And even if he would have banned, can you equate a young man burning a police station with another young man being radicalized and taken to Somalia to be trained as Al-Shabaab? That is what I said, that when you are taken to court, the magistrate or judge will look at your individual case. Did you do it out of ignorance? Is this your first time to be charged of this particular offense or any offense? Such things. And a good investigation officer and a good prosecutor, you will have to find out that this is just a case where there was a riot and those bullets that fell down, the young man took. The only mistake he did was he never returned to the government, but he kept it in his house. Do you have to treat him like somebody who went to Somalia? Well, someone once said choices have consequences. So if you choose to treat that person as a terrorist, so be it. The only problem is if you do that out of ignorance, we would understand. But you know that and you're doing it deliberately. The other crime that is being committed is the thing that is called cybercrime and computer misuse. Yes, when this act was introduced, it was introduced with an intention of, look, as the name suggests. But let me tell you, between 80% and 90% of the offenses committed under the so-called cyber what? Cyber bullying and computer misuse. 90% of the things just come out of. I mean, they come out at the end of the case. It is found not to measure up to the expectation of our commitment. But what does that happen? It starts like this, and I want to remember my father, Lando. I want to remember my father, Lando, where he answered that lawyer called Kadima. You see, an investigation officer and a prosecutor, I'm not even talking of the judges, because right now the only sane people in Kenya are the judges. Now, why should the investigator form an opinion? Why should a prosecutor form an opinion and then direct everything to prove his opinion right? Why don't you follow the matter? That's just my question. Because if a good investigator would have done his work well, you would not have, and I want to tell all the investigation officers, you do not make a name in the number of arrests you make. You make a name in the number of convictions you make. By this I mean, if you make, if your convictions are 10% of your arrests, and the other investigation officer, his convictions are 90% of the arrests he make, who is now better? You see, as an investigator, when you decide to go and arrest, it should be, the thing should be so high that it is almost impossible. We have even had cases. Those who are my age mates and older will remember somebody called Georgiadis and SM Otieno. They used to say that you can murder somebody and hire those lawyers and they will win the case for you. So don't you think that in the future it is also good for people to form an opinion that if detective so and so arrests you and takes you to court, definitely you will be convicted because he does a thorough investigation. Now, what is happening today is that we have to sit down and look. Yes, on one side, we have to ask ourselves about cyberbullying and computer misuse. But then on the other hand, we have to say that we have also to look. You see, cyberbullying and computer misuse, it's a crime under the penal code. But then freedom of expression is covered under our constitution. Now, can something that the laws of Kenya is against, but allowed by the constitution, which one takes precedence? But let me say this, in all fairness, it is also bad for cyberbullying. But in today's, police have found a way, a very easy way of bullying people. All you need to do is you just say that, you just tell the police, you tell them somebody is cyberbullying me. And you know what they do? Let me give you an example of somebody in Mandera. He goes to the DCI Mandera and complains that you cyberbullied him. You are in Mandera, both of you. The DCI in Mandera, I don't have any part. I chose the town Mandera because I've been there, but I don't know of any such a case. I'm only giving Mandera and Todenyang are the farthest places in Kenya, according to me. Now, somebody in Todonyang goes and says that you are cyberbullying him. What happens? They wait until either Thursday evening or Friday morning. Or they can even arrest you on Wednesday evening, which will be counted to be Thursday, isn't it? knowing very well that that Friday is a public holiday. So you'll stay in the cells up to Monday. When you stay in the cells up to Monday, that is what they're after. I tell you, that is what they're after. We used to have DPP, Kinashara Rao, Director of Public Prosecution. He was basically the deputy AG. We said, okay, let the AG and Director of Public Prosecution be delinked. They were delinked. Now, what is happening to the Directorate of Public Prosecution? You know, those are the problems we are having. We are moving from bad to worse, but we are covering ourselves with very clean and good. Why should you have a laundry suit while you have not washed your mouth and your body? You are smelling that, but you are you are in brand new uniform, brand new suit. Eh? That is what Kenya is doing. We give flashy names. We call them. Now, English is a changing language. We know about the Kenya Police Force, and we now know about the Kenya Police Service. Why don't we go back to the police force then? I think it is much, much, much better than what it is now. Kindly let us go back to the police force. Because police service is becoming too military. Now, this is what happened. You have been placed in the cells up to Monday, 4 days. All your gadgets, and I don't know who told the police. I have an example. All my gadgets were taken for 86 days. But all those 86 days, or 85 days, I was still, yeah, it was 86. Of all those 86 days, I was still recording and putting my things on YouTube. If you go to town, if you go to any town, you'll find there are some young men or girls who have cameras on whatever. You just go there, hire them, they record you. You go to a cyber and upload that. And you know the gadgets of today, we have M-Pesa, we have everything, we have whatever. Those things are, if somebody took your Safaricom, he has taken everything. You cannot board some transport like the railways. The railway, you have to pay through M-Pesa and the ticket comes through an SMS. They have taken your phone. You cannot enter some of the offices, risk offices, without your phone. You go there, you want to enter at the reception. You are told to give your phone number, and then you are told that you are going to get an SMS which will direct you to Kenya. Your phone is taken. Nowadays, people don't work with money. You enter a bus, they say, pochi la biashara, onyesha message. You are arrested on Wednesday evening, knowing very well that Friday is a public holiday. So you are released on Monday with a bond. Everything of yours is taken. Actually, a phone, your phone, when it is taken, it is just like it is only your body that has not been in remand. But you are actually in remand. It's only that your body is not being there. So you find that today's thing is that, let us take the example of that girl. I can't recall the name of that girl, who just commented something and she was arrested and the case went on for I don't know how many days. Let me tell you, 99% of those cases, of today's cases of cyberbullying and computer misuse, let us not even talk of conviction. They don't usually go ahead. The intention is you be arrested, spend a long weekend in the cells, go to a remand home for a month or so, then go to a remand home for a month or so, then you are released. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we call what we used to call during Kenyatta's and Moi's time, detention without trial. Detention without trial. And anytime you want to complain about it, they will just say that we did our own investigations and later found on that you had no case to answer. Majority of the Kenyans now, they are not formally employed. Majority of Kenyans today, uh, he or she doesn't do her business for a month or two. Even when he's or she is sick, her business or his business collapses. Mr. President, oh, hallelujah, born again president, a person who wants to build a very big church in the state house. Build the church that is in your chest. People, and you see, these things, maybe they were there, but why is it that during the Kindiki's time, Kindiki was very busy going around operation. He even had a uniform. He even had a uniform. And he never went for a foreign visit or anything. He used to go around to see policemen in the field. We never had this during Kindiki's time, but we are having it. Do you want that? I don't even want to ask you, do you want to be counted as the president who did that? Usually it is your minister who is doing that, giving executive order. But lastly, I want to tell you, Mr. President, I don't know about other people, but where I am, I think one ballot paper in the next election, if things continue the way they are, I will mark it as spoiled. That's all. Hakuna kitu ingine.